All right, welcome back for step number 3 of how to create our 2-point perspective drawing. These are the materials that we will need. Again, we are going to need a pencil, ruler, an eraser, and of course our paper for our project. So last time what we did was we created the different heights of our buildings. Today, we are going to add depth to our buildings. We're not going to add depth to all of our buildings, only some of them. We are going to be adding depth to the buildings that are taller than 1 or 2 of their neighbors. So we are going to be adding depth to 1, 2, 3 buildings. Anytime you're adding depth to a building, you are going to connect to the opposite point. So for this building on the left-hand side, I'm going to connect it to point number 2. And for these 2 buildings on the right-hand side, I'm going to connect them to point number 1. And that's just for creating depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this building on the left-hand side, and I'm going to line up the tallest corner of my building to point number 2 because I'm adding depth to it. So I'm going to connect with the opposite point. So I'm lined up with point number 2 and the tallest corner of this building that I need to add depth to. And I only need to add depth to this building because this building is shorter, so I technically can see the side of this building. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm lined up with the top corner and point number 2. I'm going to add in a line, and that line is only going to be as long as you want the side of this building to be. So I decided to stop here, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my ruler so that I'm vertical. I'm going to line it up so it's parallel with this center line, just like I've done in the past videos. And I'm going to connect that line I just drew going down, and I stop once I run into the roof line of the neighboring building. So what I just did is I created the side for this building right here. I'm going to show you again on the right hand side. I'm going to do this building right here, the tallest building. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to erase the lines of the diamond that I had created for my drawing. I actually don't need those anymore. So I'm going to erase them, and it's going to make the next steps a little bit easier to see. All right. So because this building is on the right-hand side and I need to add depth to this building, I'm going to connect the tallest corner to point number 1 because it's the opposite point. So I'm going to line up the tallest corner with point number 1. And again, I'm going to draw in the side of the building however large I want that wall to be. From there, I line my ruler up with that vertical line going down the center of my paper, and I connect down until I run into a roof, and that creates the side for this building right here. I can also erase this part of my vertical line, and I can also erase this bottom part of my vertical line. I don't need those anymore because I've already drawn in enough lines to know where things are going to be for my project. Okay, so I got rid of the top part of the vertical line and the bottom part, but I still have this corner of my building, which is the vertical line, but I do need to keep that because it's the corner of this store. So I still need to do this building right here. I'm going to do the same process for this building that I did with this one and this one. And because this building is on the right-hand side of my project, I'm not going to connect it to point 2. I'm going to connect it to point 1 because I'm adding depth to that building. So I'm going to line up the tallest corner I'm gonna draw in a little bit of the side of this building. Line up my ruler with my vertical line, which I'm using the corner of the building. Connect it down. And here I have created depth for my 3 buildings.